My name is Hugh. This is our Ford F-250 2020. And this is how me and my wife like to get out away from the office and explore the world. All right, my name is Hugh. This is our Ford F-150 2020, the Tremor package. And then these are our overlanding bikes once we get out camping. So we got two Kawasaki's, a KLX 300 for me and a KLX 230 for my wife. So once we set up base camp, we can go out and explore. We have a 3 times rule for stuff that's on this truck. So we must have needed it at least 3 times before we could buy it. So we'll start off with these traction boards. We started off with 2 of them. And the first time we got stuck, we realized you actually need 4 to be able to get a truck this big unstuck. So we figured that out. And then we made our own mount to mount it onto this Putco rack. So a lot of the stuff that's on here wasn't available in the market. We had to build it ourselves to get this thing to work for us. This Pelican case, this is all of our recovery gear. We originally had the recovery gear in the bed of the truck. Then you had to take everything out to get to the recovery gear. But now I made a mount for this Pelican case, so it doesn't actually exist. You can buy to mount it to this Putco rack. But it's one of the storm cases. And inside of it, it's got all of our recovery ropes, straps. It's got a drill-powered mini worn winch. So we've got a little bit of everything in here to get ourselves recovered. And now it's nice and convenient. And on the outside of the vehicle, you don't have to empty the bed to get all that stuff out. And then for all of our stuff that we have in here, we wanted to have a hard rollaway cover, so it was mostly safe. So everything was limited by the space from the floor to underneath the cover. And we didn't want to drill any holes into the bed. So I took a sheet of plywood and used that as a false floor, and everything is screwed to that sheet of plywood. And we painted it white. Most people paint them black, but we figured out when you're out camping in the dark and you drop something, it's hard to find it against a black background. So we painted it white, so everything is easy to find if you drop anything on the floor in there. Originally, we started with the black and yellow Costco totes for everything. But every time you go camping, you'd have to pull everything out of the Costco totes to get it out and then put it back away. And we wanted it to be a lot quicker. And so we started looking at these Milwaukee pack outs. And so, like, this is our kitchen pack out. We made a little mount to mount our camp stove. And then in the drawers, you got all your additional camping gear, propane hoses, all the little things that you need. And this particular box is all the stuff you need to set up when you initially get to camp. So that's in the front. And then further on, we've got 3 other pack outs inside of the bed of the truck. And those are the stuff you need after you get to camp. And then we have a Goal Zero that we wired up to the truck in the back. And that powers our fridge. And again, we picked a fridge size that fits under the rollaway cover. And then next to the fridge is our gas can. So when we're out riding, if we run out of gas, we've got additional gas so we can stay out as long as we want to stay out. With adding the bikes, we decided to add additional brake and turn signal lights on the truck so that they were over the bikes, because the bikes obscure our lighting. So we added those additional lights. And my wife, she's an electrical engineer, so she built wiring harnesses to put in all the light in here. And then she's also wired in some additional lights over our bed that flash down over the bed and light up the bed at night. So all this other, like I said, all this stuff is custom. We all built it. You can't buy most of the stuff to add to your vehicle. And then we have a Roof Nest XL. It's not a Condor. Can't remember which model this is, but we started camping with our son, so we wanted something big enough that all 3 of us could be in there. but it only fit over the footprint of the truck. It didn't have to fold out on one side or the other, because a lot of times you have enough space just to park the truck. So we wanted something that didn't go beyond that footprint. We also keep a CB radio in here from Midland, because you never know when you're going to need it. And it's always good to have. Another cool thing that we added that is we also have a Dometic fridge in the center console. So this comes in handy on those long road trips. Anytime you buy a drink and you put it in a cup holder, it always happens to be the sun is hitting your cup holder and making your drink hot. So we put the fridge in to be able to keep that cool. And then we also keep our switch panel. We've got a remote switch panel for all the lighting on the truck. So that stays up here, and the Dometic comes with 2 USB chargers. So that's how we keep this thing charged when it's sitting in here on the road. These bikes we got since a lot of times when we go, we're just doing dispersed camping, and it's first come, first served. So a lot of times you don't know if the spot you found, if there's a better spot up the mountain. So we got the bikes initially so that we can unload one and one person can go spot to see if there's a better spot further up the trail. And if there is, they can radio back to us, to the other person with the truck, and we can bring it up. And then the other thing is, once we set up camp, a lot of times you've traveled past a lot of really cool stuff that you want to go back and look at. And I'm not in mountain biking shape anymore, so I needed a motor to be able to go explore. And so my wife doesn't like my riding, so she's got her own bike to ride at her pace, and I got mine to ride at my pace. And this usually will get us about 10, 20 miles away from base camp and go explore places that the truck honestly wouldn't fit, and even any other four-wheeler won't fit, but you can get two-wheelers down into those spots and be able to see some really cool stuff when we go out dispersed camping. And we got them street legal, so that if we're gonna stay at camp for a while and we run out of food, you just throw a backpack on. You can ride on any road on these things, go get more food and stuff like that to extend how long we want to stay out camping. Again, my name is Hugh. This is our Ford F-150 2020. And this is how me and my wife like to get out away from the office and explore the world.